Staying power in the music industry is something that every artist craves for, but not everyone has the joy of experiencing. In order for an artist to maintain some sort of relevance, credibility, and enjoy a lengthy existence in the limelight, they must either have a distinctive USP that listeners crave for that makes the artist a long-term prospect, or they must strike on something that's current and bring their own twist to it that garners their appeal. So where does this leave a group like One Republic? Honestly, it's hard to know. More commonly known as That Group with Ryan Tedder in it, One Republic have always been classified as a singles group who cut to their albums with a majority of filler. Nothing too substantial that could be recognised as a hit, but at least it fills their quota for making an album. This has been going on since their debut back in 2007, and 9 years later, the band seems to be sticking to that formula with their new album Oh My My, the group's longest album to date at over an hour in length, a record that took 18 months to complete and contains a total of 16 tracks, discounting the deluxe edition, which takes the track list up to 20 songs in total and at over 75 minutes in length. A pop album that comes complete with the usual piano, acoustic guitars, drums and cello, the album does include a few moments which are quite surprising. The titular track and Dream both opening up with a groove-driven bass line, giving the tracks a danceable quality to them. The gospel tinges on the songs Choke and Heaven, the first song with its use of gospel backing vocals, and the second where the instrumentation creates an almost ethereal sound, and the synths give tracks like MBHD and Born a distinguishable quality. However, very few melodies maintain a lasting memory, and perhaps that wouldn't have been the case if the vocal performances weren't so unbearable at points. Whenever you're not trudging through Tedder's at times insufferable falsetto deliveries, you're expected to endure the parts where his vocals are layered with effects, making them even more intolerable. Lyrically, this is the album's biggest sticking point. One of the album's predominant themes involves that of nostalgia, youth and growing up, and this makes for a rather personal and interesting album in that regards. Unfortunately though, the songwriting template is where the album suffers due to the highly repetitive nature of the lyrics. Many of the song's verses are pretty bare and come off as highly uninspiring, especially the tracks which recycle verses constantly, and the only different feature is that perhaps two words get changed, or if the songwriters are feeling extra adventurous, maybe one line will be changed at most. I'm guessing that none of the writers at any point felt like pushing the boat out or experimenting with different ideas at all. After their last top 5 hit, Love Runs Out, I had raised expectations for the group and hoped that they would embrace the song's brooding and dark aura and perhaps incorporate that into this new album, since that song showed that the group could be interesting and take the listener down a path unlike anyone had ever seen from One Republic. Alas, that didn't turn out to be the case. This album feels way too padded, it goes on way too long, and the instrumentation doesn't do enough and isn't distinctive enough to carry all 16 songs. And when the inclusions of Genesis legend Peter Gabriel and the arrival of new artist Santa Gold fail to save their respective tracks, that's not good. It's ambitious, but as previously mentioned, ambition doesn't necessarily make a great album.